Yo, 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 welcome to On The Go podcast. And today we're going to be talking about, the Sixers and some rumors of what's going to happen in the offseason. Because we got a lot to talk about. We still got to figure out who we are going to get as a head coach. Because that is a very important task. I've seen in ESPN, Stephen A. Smith and a couple of his buddies are saying that this was a huge mistake of us firing Doc Rivers. And no, it is not a mistake. Their practices weren't hard enough. He didn't make enough adjustments in game time. He didn't. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And the most important thing is practice. You have to practice hard. You have to have a coach who's going to push your team in practices. So your team is going to be used to seeing aggressive looks in the playoffs. I don't think Embiid had one aggressive practice. If you don't practice the looks you're going to see in the playoffs, that's where you do that. That's where you practice the playoff stuff in practice. I don't understand how, we just didn't do that at all through our 82 game season. So yeah, that was Doc Rivers' biggest demise. That was his biggest weakness was preparedness, readiness. I'll say, just you got to bring your team ready to play. And as season go by, Daryl Morey just looks dumber and dumber. We could have gotten Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield for Ben Simmons. And we could have offloaded the Tobias Harris contract. That's what they're saying that we could have done. And having Tyrese Halliburton, everyone knows how this guy's a baller. If we had him instead of James Harden with Buddy Hield, we would be disgusting. But it's okay because that's a what if. But that's just still that's still a problem. And the Sixers have a lot of free agents coming up in this offseason. James Harden, Daniel House Jr., George Niang, Montrezl Harrell, Shake Milton, Jalen McDaniels, Paul Reed, Dwayne Dedmon, Mac McClung, and Louis King. That's a lot of free agents. And most of these players played a lot of minutes for us. Like James Harden, it's looking day by day that James Harden's going to re-sign with the Sixers, and it kind of sucks because I want to see this team without him. He's just a loser player. He doesn't play defense. He doesn't hustle. I don't want that kind of player. I don't like those kind of players. Because when I play basketball, I'm like a Draymond. Well, I want to say I'm like a Draymond, but I talk a lot of trash. I'm a hustle guy. You need that kind of player to win. And the fact that PJ Tucker is like our eighth best player on our team, and he's the only player that does that. And Melton does that occasionally. Maxey does that sometimes. But you need a top player. Like Jaylen Brown does that for the Celtics. Tatum even does it. Marcus Smart does that crazily. So you need players like that. And if your top players do that, you're going to win most of your games. Paul Reed. We need to get Paul Reed back on this team, man. I want to see him starting with Embiid. I feel like if he's a power forward next to Embiid can shoot. Embiid can shoot, and Paul Reed, he wants to extend his range. In the G League, he shot well from three. He has range. We can replace him with PJ Tucker. He can be around the dunker spot. He's going to get more offensive rebounds. Imagine Embiid and Paul Reed on the court together. The amount of rebounds we would get, we wouldn't get out rebounded. That was a big problem. Rebounds. Put Paul Reed as a power forward. That's his true position, a power forward. He has to be a power forward, man. He's 6'9". And then during the offseason, we get a true center off the bench. That is what we should do. We need a true center off the bench. Charles Bassey would have been great, but we released him. And he was a young guy. I don't know why you would want to trade a young developmental piece. And he wasn't he had raw talent. He could shoot threes. We saw him stretch the floor, but he was athletic. He got blocks. He was a big-bodied guy. That's what you want. And I think he was a foreign guy too. I think he was from Africa, somebody's in Africa. So I thought Embiid was probably going to take him under his wing a little bit, but and it didn't end up happening. But I feel like they got to do that. Embiid has to take the next backup center under his wing. That's the best way to really get that potential. And it's just going to help us in the long run. Jalen McDaniels, I feel like we have to re-sign him. If we don't re-sign him, if we don't get him back, then that whole Matisse trade was for nothing. I like Jalen McDaniels. Kind of sucked he didn't really get to play more in the series. I think we definitely needed him in the last 2 games, like game 6 and 7. Like that was the player we needed. We needed Jalen McDaniels to just bring length, disrupt them, play defense. He has height. He gets boards. Plays defense. He can guard many different positions, and especially when we play zone with Jalen McDaniels, D'Anthony Melton, and I guess Tyrese. Yeah, that zone is very disruptive because they're so quick, they're so fast and lengthy. Like they can spread out the floor. And Jalen McDaniels, we need to re-sign him. He's young. He's only going to get better from now. So yeah, we got to re-sign him. I think Shake Milton's gone. He's probably not going to come back. The thing is, we're going to get a new coach. So when you get a new coach, there's new opportunities for players who didn't really get a chance. Like Furkan Korkmaz is still on our team. He still has a contract for another year. He might he's probably excited that there's a new coach coming up because he might get a chance. Don't be surprised if Furkan's in our bench rotation. I wouldn't be that surprised. Daniel House Jr., I don't know what we're going to do with him. I think we should let him go. I'm not going to lie. I don't think he's not going to be – he shouldn't be playing on a championship squad team. He can't come off the bench. He can't be that kind of player. He played great, though. I mean, I got to give it to him. In the beginning of the season, I didn't really like him, but he did change my mind at the end. Even in the playoffs, he did his thing. So I got to give him that. Georges Niang, I think we're going to re-sign him. I don't know. He wants to come back to Philly, but we need to get you for cheap, and I don't know if you're really going to come back. You got to play some defense. You got to get better. Get more athletic or something. I don't know. And guys, I'm just saying, we should get Kyrie. If we don't get James Harden, we have to get Kyrie. I want Kyrie so bad. He's younger than James Harden. And he's just better than James Harden. He's better than – I don't care what you guys say. Come on. Kyrie is so much better than James Harden. As a player, he's more skilled. He's a better defensive player too. He's just better. He's more consistent. In the playoffs, he's not going to – Kyrie Irving, I'll put my whole life savings on this. Kyrie Irving won't ever drop 45 points and then the next game drop 5. And then another game drop through 9 and then 30. That's not going to – the thing is, he's probably going to drop 20, 25, 30, 30, 25, 20. A bad game for him in the playoffs was probably 15 points. It is 15 points. Kyrie and Joel Embiid is going to be the best duo ever if they get a shot. I mean, and then you add Tyrese into the mix that come on, that team is much better. And I think Kyrie, if he's looking at the odds, I wouldn't go to the Lakers. For your career, that's going to look bad. You need LeBron to win. You do not need LeBron to win. If you come to Philly and we don't get James Harden, you look at the roster, you see Embiid, you see Tyrese Maxey. You can guide. I'd rather Kyrie Irving guide Tyrese Maxey than James Harden. I'm sorry. James Harden does not work hard. Kyrie Irving actually, you can tell he works harder than James Harden does on the basketball court, I'll say. Because James Harden's a producer now. He's into that music scene, fashion, all that stuff. Kyrie's more about basketball. And I don't care what you guys say. He's philosophy and shit like that. I care about ball. I care about production. If you guys hate on Kyrie, I understand. But Kyrie's my first option. If you don't get Harden, you got to get Kyrie. There's also D'Angelo Russell who's available as a free agent. I don't know the odds of us getting him because we're probably going to have to pay him big money. And he's nowhere near Kyrie Irving or he's probably James Harden level. I also like Jeremy Grant. If we're able to get him, bring him back to Philly, I think that would be a really good pickup. That'd be a great pickup. I would love Jeremy Grant. That's the kind of player we need, honestly. But I feel like he's a streaky shooter. He's just a better version of Tobias, in my opinion. He plays better defense. He gets more boards. He's more athletic. He's a better. I don't know about better scorer, but he's similar. I think the offensive game is similar, but Jeremy Grant is more athletic. Jeremy Grant would slam it on someone. No, actually, scratch that. He's better offensively and defensively. The fact that he can just yam on someone makes him better than Tobias because Tobias can't do that anymore. So Tobias got stuffed at the rim probably 80% of the time he drove, bro. It's crazy. Karis LeVert, that's a free agent, and you could probably sign him for cheap. Not cheap, but 17 mil. Like that's expensive, obviously, but Karis LeVert would be a great pickup. And actually, that's the kind of player we need. He's like a Chris Middleton-esque type player because he's like a 6'8" shooting guard that can shoot, dribble, play decent defense. Yeah, I feel like that would be a great pickup. And when I'm looking at the backup centers that are available in the free agency, there's Christian Wood, who I feel like that's an amazing pick. That's my dream free agency pick, honestly. Now looking back at it, and especially you can get it for cheap. It's saying 13.5 mil, which we can afford. Especially if we do re-sign James Harden, we're not going to be able to get Kyrie, but we can get Christian Wood, and we need Christian Wood. Maybe we could start him and put him at power forward. I don't know. But at least as a backup center, Christian Wood would be amazing. Amazing. Also, Brook Lopez would be available. It's looking like he wants the same amount of money as Christian Wood. And I rather get Christian Wood. But Brook Lopez is probably better in intangibles. He knows how to win. He's done it before. And, man, he's a stretch. It's a GOAT, man. Every time we play him, he dominates us. So, I mean, Brook Lopez or Christian Wood, both of those pickups would be great for the Sixers. And like I said, there's a lot of returning players in this free agency. Like earlier when I was talking about, what's his name? Jeremy Grant. There's also Dario Saric. I mean, we could sign him off the bench, put him off the bench. I mean, we just need big guys. Guys who can get rebounds. Guys... And the fans would love Dario. Everyone would want Dario to come back. I miss Dario so much. He's 29, so he's not old, but he's a rotational player. You put him in there, he brings some foul, some height to some tenacity because he played rough. He played aggressive when he was in Philly. I haven't really caught up with him, but I would love to see his return if he comes for cheap. He did start his career here. Another free agent, Kelly Oubre Jr. I feel like that's a great pickup. I mean, I feel like he can play defense. He's lengthy. He's aggressive. He's athletic. And we don't have any players like him. So it would just be cool seeing a guy just gabbing on people. All right, but I'm going to wrap it up for this video. Tomorrow I'm going to drop a free agency video. So I'll get more in depth with the free agents that I want and the Sixers should get. So, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.